What's up, y'all? Welcome back to Dolphins Daily, your daily dose of Dolphins content with your boy, me, Chris Kane. Let's talk about the Dolphins. So, we're going to start with reviewing our GM. I know there's a lot of people who got beef with Chris Grier. A lot of people. Me a little bit included, but mostly other people. And it's because free agency, the way it's promoted, ESPN, Yard Breaker, and all these talk shows are all like, ooh, big splashy signing. They got DK Metcalf and Buffalo got Joey Bosa, and it's a big deal, right? You're trying to figure out where's the next big domino going to fall. That's what free agency has been for the media purposes of it, right? But the truth is, only like 10 to 12 teams have money to spend. So most teams aren't even in the position to get the big name players. The Patriots had a ton of money to spend, and they got people, Carlton Davis, a couple of D linemen. People were just kind of like, oh, like even with their money, they signed good players to long term deals, and people just, who cares, right? Like we want to hear like that one. We wanted Miles Garrett to get traded. He didn't get traded. He got an extension, right? So Miami's in a situation where the money's tight. We've been talking about it ad nauseum, and Chris Greer is betting on the fact that we don't have a lot of money. We're trying to maximize value and fill positions. That's what we are. We call them mid-value people, right? Your mid-value player would maybe high upside, right? This is someone who maybe you've kind of been like a nickel corner. We're gonna put you at the second corner and think maybe with more time and more reps, you might be a bona fide two corner that really has been masquerading as a three or four. That's kind of the idea. Instead of going out and saying, let's get Jair Alexander, who we know is a QB, is a DB1 that wants that much money, let's go get DB4 and maybe he can perform at DB3 or DB2 level, right? That's kind of what we've done. And so we filled safety positions, cornerback, linebacker, and a couple offensive linemen. Like he's really just spreading the money out. It's like when you're betting, you don't put like a whole stack on black. You say, let me put one on here. You spread it around, right? So even if you win, you might double your chips, but you're doubling one instead of doubling like 10, right? It's the whole thing. I understand the strategy for it. I know some of y'all are wondering, but can we restructure a couple more deals to free up more money? Yes, you can do that to answer your question. Specifically Tua's deal because Tua's getting the most money on the team. Here's the thing about restructuring the contract though. It pushes more of the money down the line, which means you're committed to the player longer. Now we have a ton of Tua fans who are like, so what? We love Tua. Push the money, make us more competitive now. We don't care about the future. The organization during Tua's tenure, however, has shown a little bit of this. They've been a little reticent to like fully embrace Tua. And I don't mean like Tua the player. I mean Tua like the concussions. I mean Tua, is there somebody building the market? There's always been a thing around Tua. Like does he need this coach specifically to be good because he's only had one other coach and he wasn't good under him. So we like our quarterback. We don't know if we're like the 7 or 8 teams who are in love with the quarterback. I don't think there's anyone in the league that you would offer the Commanders for Jaden Daniels and they'll say yes to. Even Mahomes, I think they'll be like, no, we'll keep our guy. But then there's teams like I think if you offer Dallas enough, they'll let that go. That's where I'm at. Like they give him an extension, but if the right quarterback comes along, they're like, I think Bart trade Dak. I think Miami's in that category with Tua, where we like Tua a lot. He's our guy, but we're just check under the sheets a little bit. We gave him the extension, but we can kind of get out of it at the end of next year. So it's like, yeah, we'll give you a contract, but we're not. We're engaged. We're not married. It's kind of what it is. So instead of restructuring Tua's deal, they're keeping it where it is. So it keeps us limited for now, but it gives us more flexibility down the line. And I think that's what his approach is. Now, I don't know if Greer's going to be around long enough to see this. This is almost like Philadelphia when they had trust the process. And then everybody from the process is gone except Joel Embiid. So sometimes you can have this long-term goal, and if it don't go well, nobody keeps a job. So Chris Greer is betting on the fact that some of these guys are going to hit, and that he'll keep his job because if they don't, and we go 7-10, I don't believe he'll be GM next year. So we will see. I'm giving him a grade of a B so far, actually. I know I said letter grade. Because I think if we're working in this small box and you're not going to give me a bigger box, I think he's filled needs in the box. Like the guys that we picked up in free agency, I think Nick Westbrook is going to be great. I think like the O-line support. We have thumbs up. We picked up three O-linemen if you include Eichenberg coming back that we can plug and play. We can figure out. Like if maybe one of them pans out, maybe two of them, ideally all three, but you don't know how that works out. I think we've done enough to fortify the team in certain places to where when we go into draft, we're not like desperate for any one position. There's positions we want to get better in, of course. But I think if this is the team more or less and you add one or two rookies to it, I think he feels like I've done a good job. And I think given the constraints, I think he has as well. Now, sometimes fans just post stuff out to get conversation going. This is one of those times. Someone posted the fan question, what if we move Devon Achane to full-time slot receiver? And that just frees up Jalen Wright and anyone we draft this upcoming year to be our running back. Because Achane is a much better receiver than he is a runner because he has really good hands. He's very fast. And I think this is dumb. Let me be honest. I read this. I was like, that's dumb. Why would we do that? Like, he's our RB1. He would be our wide receiver 3. And we just signed Nick Westbrook-Achane. So he'll be wide receiver 4. Why would you do this? And I understand the idea of get his speed on the outside. He doesn't take as many tackles in between because when you're a receiver, you're getting tackled mostly by DBs, which, you know, is less likely. They're not as big. Running backs, you're getting hit by D linemen and linebackers and also DBs. Like, they're coming down to hit you. So I understand if you're saying I think Devon is going to have a shortened career by being a running back, I would agree. Running backs typically don't play as long. As a wide receiver, yeah, he could probably get a few extra years. But our team doesn't need wide receivers. So I don't know why would we do that. Like, why would you? That's actually the strongest unit that we have. If you count Jonnu Smith as a receiver, that's our strongest unit. So why like make a strength stronger? I mean, I know that's a way of thinking sometimes, but we don't need this. He's a running back. He's our running back. He's our running back 1. We don't need it. And let me tell you, a lot of fans said the same thing. People are downright mad, like, oh, this is dumb. Why would he be a wide receiver? We got to pay him more money. That's also part of it. If he becomes a full-time wide receiver, when his contract is up, he's going to demand more money. So as the Dolphins, a team that's handicapped financially, why would you then move him to this position and then have to pay him probably double the money? What do they do that at? Like, what kind of budgeting is that? Hey, I know we're over budget, but let's just add some more budget to it. Let's just add some more expenses to it. It doesn't make a lot of sense. It is interesting. I do think he would be a solid slot receiver. I said the same thing about Reggie Bush when he played. I think Alvin Kamara could have been. But it's better as for our team, he's best where he is. That's all I'm saying. Not saying he couldn't be a slot receiver. For the Miami Dolphins, we'll need a slot receiver. We're doing just fine there. So, shout out to the question. It was dumb. I'm not here for it. Good day. And finally, updated mock drafts. A lot of things are happening. One of the beauties of free agency is that free agency sometimes creates more needs for certain teams. Sometimes it eliminates needs. So players a month ago that were locked here, all of a sudden you pick up a person in that position, not a lock anymore. So currently, the Miami Dolphins are drafting Shamar Stewart in the upcoming mock draft. Now, y'all know I love SEC football. I love my defenders from the SEC because I think they're the best conference and they play each other all year and you get to go best on best. I'm here for it. Shamar Stewart, if I had to describe him, is Myles Garrett light. It's like, I can't believe it's not Myles Garrett. That's everything about him. 6'5", about 270, went to the same college, plays the same position, measurables are basically the same, combine standout, basically the same. He is a light version of Myles Garrett because Myles Garrett was the number 1 pick. So if he's going to Miami at 13, obviously 1-13, not the same. But talent-wise, body, like jumped off the skill page, athleticism, all that stuff, yeah, he's all those things. However, he did not produce in college. In 3 years at Texas A&M, he had 4.5 sacks. Not per year, total. 4.5. I don't even know how that's possible. That doesn't even make sense to me. That the sacks can be that. And again, sacks aren't the number 1 indicator of how good of an end you are, especially if you're getting like double teamed and chipped and all that. I understand there's nuance to the position. If he had 4.5 sacks just this year, I would say that's a bad year. When you have 4.5 over 3 years, I don't know what that is. While also being 6'5", 270, running a 4.5, like, what is that? None of it makes any sense. It's basically you betting on all that talent in that one body is going to pop at the next level. That's the bet. Because there's nothing on tape to show you, there's no production to show you he's going to do it. But the idea is that he could be Jadeveon Clowney, Myles Garrett, like level type person. If you think he could be that, it's for sure worth the pick. I think Myles Garrett's the best DN in the league. But if he's Myles Garrett light, I said Jadeveon Clowney, if he's 12 to 14 sacks, a good run blocker, and he can play for 10, 12 years, that's worth a 13th pick. I think that's great production. But he's played, and we've seen him on tape, and he's not produced. And I don't know why. Some guys don't get sacked. Some guys maybe they don't. I don't know. They don't grab. They don't close the deal. I don't know it. I do think he's super talented. For me, this feels more like a luxury type pick. You pick this guy up if you have a pretty decent D line already, and you think we can roll him into the D line, and then he could just be an added bonus. This would be for a team like Philadelphia, a team like a Baltimore, a team like Tampa Bay, where we are pretty good on the line already, and this guy, we don't need him to be great today. Maybe 2 years from now, you can be great. For the Dolphins, we need someone that's going to make an impact right now. And I don't see him year one impacting. Now, I hope I'm wrong if we get him, because I would love to be pleasantly surprised. But based on what he's done on tape, based on what he did in college, I don't see day one pop. And since we're bringing on Chop slowly, and then we're trying to get our two big guns back at the edges, it doesn't seem like a need that we have, unless they're assuming there's going to be some trades going on between now and then, in which case there might be a need. But this feels more luxury than need at the moment. So I do not endorse this mock draft currently. But we'll see. We still have a little bit of time before the draft, so we'll see what happens. As always, guys, thank you for love and support. Thank you for helping us on Dolphins Daily. We're trying to give you all the best news. I see some people out here jocking our stories too. It's flattering. We'll do a story here, and 2 days later I'll see the same thing somewhere else. I'm like, where'd y'all get that story from? That just means that we're moving up in the world and people are watching. So we appreciate that. But as always, we appreciate y'all at Dolphins Daily. We'll see you next time. Peace.